Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Trio Series with GT2, GT4, and GTX here at Watkins Glen for a three-round championship. As I said, starting up at Watkins Glen, we're just about to go into qualifying for 30 minutes, and we'll be going on for a 60-minute race as well, with up to nearly 60 cars, I believe, on track as well. I'm Cameron Fizzleblade and joined by Lindsay Muddle in the booth and with Glen Germain on the cameras. Lindsay, how are you looking forward tonight?
I am looking forward to it a lot, mainly because of the unknown, literally, in my case, because I am going into this pretty much blind. Three classes at Watkins Glen, it's always going to be chaotic, and with the M2s being around on the track, GT4s also lapping around, and then the GT2s being very significantly faster, the race is going to be very chaotic, I think.
Chaos is the attraction to the series, I think, a little bit as well. So, we want a little bit of chaos. There'll be a lot of multi-class racing. We do enjoy a lot of stuff like that. We've got the GT2s out first runs will be for 10 minutes, segmented qualifying right now. And first 10 minutes will be for GT2s, followed by GT4s, and then TCXs, we believe.
There- Well,
Yep,
we roll with it anyway.
we'll roll with it. We'll just roll with it. Looks like we've got a smatter of Mercedes, KTM's, and Maseratis out in GT2s, as well as probably there's a few more out there. We've obviously got the Audi GT2s, a couple of Porsches as well. The KTM is proving very popular, and the Maseratis are very strong as well, in particular. But yes, obviously for GT4s, we've got a smattering of different brands, but we'll get once they run out on track, we'll run through a few of those. And obviously for TCX is just the BMW M1 car all by itself, basically a single make series, and lots of sideways action, I believe, from the BMW.
Yeah, the M2 loves to slide across the road when it's out there.
Absolutely. Sam Aston here in the Pit Viper Maserati. Great to see a lot of deliveries out there. Well done to everyone getting those submitted and organized. Obviously, for this series, we've got a teams. It's a sort of a teams championship as well. So teams are made up of one of each class of car. So teams are free, and obviously, we'll be interested to see who comes out on top. Of course, this free range championship, and great to see everyone kind of coming up with the series. We all love our GT3s, but this is a nice little change of pace, a little bit of a difference, and we'll see who comes out on top. Maseratis, as I said, pretty strong, pretty strong machine in the GT2 field across most tracks, and we'll see how it goes. With the first few laps, surely going to be done ever so shortly. Just to note, the red dots do denote the GT2 class on the track map, which is one slightly different. Obviously, if they're light blue right now, it means the lap is not valid. Obviously, ACC's qualifying bugs are we want another question in that regards, but that's why you'll see different colored dots. It denotes the class on the track map, as well as the little tags on next to the numbers on the timing board as well. Very nice. It helps clear things up as well. It'll keep everyone nice and neat. Yep. And so a pro class for all the GT2s, followed by pro AMs only in the GT4s and AMs in the TCX BMWs. Obviously, some people are not going to be completely up to the fit in their classes, but yeah, we make do, we make do, and I'm sure it will mean diddly squat in the end. But we got Rackmat at the top, not too surprising, followed by Mia Rose, headed up in the Maserati, and Mia in the KTM. 44.2 right now. Obviously, these will probably be the fastest times we get. I doubt anyone in the GT2s, GT4, sorry, and the TCXs will go quicker than these guys.
That would be quite something, though, wouldn't it? It would create quite an interesting scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd I guess the only way that would really work if we had like a big rain shower right now for GT2s, and then it would dry out for the others. That's the only way I can see them going quicker. It's Matthew Spinazzi here in the Maserati, just behind one of the Mercedes. Looks like they're both on valid laps, so unfortunately Matthew's going to have to suffer a little bit, but he is half a second up, getting really close, really, unfortunately getting scuppered, and unfortunately gets out of the way just at the wrong time, but will have a clean start to the next lap at least, and goes up to P3.
Yeah, so a nice little lap there from Spinazzi, despite the slight blockage at the end, but obviously they were both on valid laps, so nothing to be looked at there. But I actually haven't seen a lot of these GT2 cars, so this is a first look at for me. Even though I have the DLC, I mean, I just haven't really touched it. So, I mean, this Maserati, like, I mean, look at it, it's stunning. I think that is a beautiful car.
Yeah, I do have to agree. The Maserati MC20 GT2 is rather fetching both in road car and racing form, and I have to try and holster my own prejudices against with the GT2 class. I will admit I bought the DLC just for the Red Bull ring, and that was it. But yes, I will say the Maserati does look great, as well as the KTM as well. The rest of them I'm not too bothered about, but yeah, a little bit like a baby 296 Ferrari. This Maserati, I have to say, with its twin turbo V6 and pretty good TC as well. It goes now through the ever known chicane, the inner loop, and long outer loop, long right hander, Watkins Glen. What are your thoughts on Watkins Glen, Lindsay?
I absolutely adore the track. This is one of my higher ranked tracks, not just in the States where it would be my highest ranked track, but just in general. Watkins Glen is really fun to drive in pretty much any car. It's also where I've had some good races in sprints myself, so yeah, I just hold this place dear to my heart, and yeah, I love it here.
Absolutely. It's I think this one will probably rank out the three American tracks that this came with in the DLC. Obviously, the other two being Circuit of the Americas and the Indianapolis GP track. I think this one is probably going to be the all-around favorite for the majority. Fanny Rackman hammering the curbs there. And it is a very technical track as well. A lot of like, mix of corners. Not too many, a few slow speeds at the final part of the track, but a pretty high average medium speed. I have to say here at Watkins, it is pretty technical as well. Coming up to got quite some elevation, especially with this corner right here as well. And tell you what, those TCXs, they don't have much power, but they don't have any TC, and they're gonna get a bit squirrely coming up the hill like that.
Yeah, I think that they will, and anybody that's running 0TC, much like right now, in his Maserati, it's very tricky. It takes a lot of throttle modulation. Obviously, you see it in the GT3s as well, but GT2s have a little bit more power to lay down, so they're even more scary. So going up that hill, they've got to be careful. But right now, Rackmat looking very comfortable, as well as a lot of the rest of the GT2 group. But a 44.1 currently, and Fadley might just improve here as he rounds the final corner. But 44s is some people's GT3 times, so that is phenomenal pace here in a GT2.
Absolutely, I was going to say, it's. I had to cast my mind back to the last time I raced here at Watkins Glen. I was going to say 44s sounded like the magic numbers generally back then. As we're coming to the last 40 seconds of the for the GT2s, obviously if they cross the line just before the end of the 10 minutes, they will be able to finish their laps as known. But obviously, as soon as it clicks over to 20 minutes left, the GT4s will come out. But yes, I have to agree. Like 44s are considerably, very good. These GT2s are not very much bopped, and in the right hands, it can be just as quick as GT3s. I have to say, has been proven out, and they're obviously very rapid in a straight line while not having as much downforce as their GT3 counterparts. There's a fair old few amount of straights down here, so power and straight line speed does come into a factor here at Watkins Glen. So you see Talbot now 3/10 up, coming into turn 9, the toe corner. Some interesting names, I have to say. Maybe mostly shoe and foot related, weirdly. Probably some people don't get too excited about those things. I know that there are weirdos out there.
I don't think it'll be a lot of people's cup of tea, hopefully, but I actually haven't been able to find corner names around here. I mean, I know there's one or two, but when I looked it up, I could not find a proper track map.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna name the corners, at least name all of them. Don't just name some of them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, Taufik coming around the final corner. These last two corners are so tricky. It's so easy to bleed speed around here. And right up against the wall as well for the Maserati driver. 711, 8 tenths up. That should put him up into P3 surely. Yep, right behind Mia Rose. No, not to threat, so it is look like it's going to be Rackmat on pole, followed by Mia Rose, followed by Taufik, but there's still a few laps out. You can see the flurry of GT4s all out on track now as well, and hopefully they all find space for each other.
Yeah, and that is the tricky part of a qualifying session where you all pretty much come out at the exact same time. It is the factor where you're all just trying to bundle out of the pit lane, and trying to find space is pretty much impossible, because if you slow down to let one person through thinking you can find a pocket, you probably won't, because another car will be knocking on your doorstep. But here are your GT4 cars, and some cars we're definitely more familiar with, I think, as a whole, because a lot of them are just GT3 car model. Like, they are the same cars that the GT3 cars are, but just more road car-y. That or their older models like this Cayman GT4. The Aston Martin is the one you're used to, but we also have the appearance of the Alpine A110 GT4, which is normally the quickest GT4, so it'll be nice to keep an eye on as we look down towards turn 1, and just the difference in speed and power compared to the GT2s is going to be really fascinating to see what we see lap time wise, I think, because they're going to be quite significantly slower, but by how much? And then back to the TCXs later, we'll see what the gap is between all three classes, because that then gives you a bit of an estimate as to when we will start seeing some lap chaos in the 60-minute race we have coming towards us. As there's the Camaro, the big boat itself, trundling away down the track, and also the Maserati, which, unlike the GT2 variant, is very slow.
The Camaro, the Yank Tank, quickly paired by the Robertson Racing Team in real life with these GT4 Camaros. As I said before, yep, we got the Maserati, the old Gran Turismo GT4 without no TC by default, so you don't even have the option with that thing. Obviously, aforementioned Alpine A110, the BMW M4, the older generation one, as well as obviously like the Cayman GT4 as well. Quite an old, relatively old DLC pack at this point is the GT4s. Sadly, I'm not seeing any Ginettas out there. I'm very disappointed to see. And but we've got KTM GT4, which is pretty good. Don't usually see the toaster, as I like to call it, out there. But obviously, a few more GT4s. We've got the McLarens. I mean, there is, yeah, the McLaren 570S, I believe, is out there for the Artura model. And obviously the Aston Martin as well. Some pretty competent cars out there. The Alpine, has been known to set a pretty rapid lap time. I remember back when this kind of DLC came out, it was kind of dominated by the BMW, Porsche, and Aston Martin across all tracks. Hopefully the BLP spread is a little bit closer, but we'll see come race day, because I'm sure lap time isn't going to matter diddly squat. But yes, on the timing board and on the track map, dark blue dots denote GT4 classes, as you are seeing.
I've got to ask you, Cameron, with the amount of times you're saying diddly squat, do you happen to watch Clarkson's phone?
Maybe, yes. I haven't actually watched as much as I have, but to be honest, I was using that term before his show came out. To be honest, it's a bit of an old UK term, but it's a good one, I will say. Now everyone knows what it is, 60 o'clock as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it, but it's not something I hear every day unless I'm watching.
Basically means don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I do know that.
That wasn't a jab at you. That was actually what it means.
Okay.
It means.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. I'm just because
I can hear Glen giggling in the background.
Yeah, just often because of my age, a lot of people think that I don't know what these phrases are. So it's always honest. There's a Ginetta. There we go.
Hey. There we go, Carl. Good man. I think we've got every GT4 representative. Maybe no. I think that's I think that's all of them. I think there's I think there's 10 GT4s in total. We've got the AMG as well out there, the GT4, the Cayman, the BMWs, and that's a bit of grass, but still valid. Looks like we're going to be in the mid-50s for the GT4s, which purely means the T6s are going to be in the 2 minutes. And we do have the Maserati GT4 as well, like I mentioned, right up close to the wall.
I've seen an improvement on that one. Just making sure we have all the GT4s. Not that we have to, but yeah, it looks like we do. So that is very good to see. Just a nice variety out here.
I think we're missing the Audi.
Oh.
That thing is a bag of spanners, isn't it?
The GT3 as well.
Yeah, we have more GT2s, Audis than we had of the other two. That says a lot. We got a sheet there. Thank you very much, Glen. And yeah, no Audis. Unfortunately, but I can understand if you drive it, it basically has, I think it has fixed braking, brake bias, so it kind of, it just doesn't want to stop that way.
It's still probably faster than the Maserati, if I'm honest. But the Maserati is the main bit.
It is a little bit, but it is Maserati can be quick in its own day. Same with the Ginetta. It's actually got half decent error if you can just manage TC up, which, to be honest, TC up seems to be how you go quick these days in ACC. So maybe that's won't be too much of a hindrance. Alpine will be interesting. Obviously, in the hands of Mark Bushell right now. That thing gets pretty wily at times, but it is very quick, like you said.
Yeah, usually when you go and you watch, like, I don't know, SRO, like GT4, I don't know, I think they do that. I think I've seen James Waldron videos before. Yeah, they're always running the Alpine, or it's just the Alpine Sports Cup, either way. But yeah, they're, yeah, everybody seems to be running the Alpine. They're always talking about how it's the quickest. I know that it's very quick at Paul Ricard, so maybe it's just quick in a straight line. Who knows? I have no clue about this GT4 grid, but it is close racing, and that is the main thing.
Too much inside curve, doesn't like that at all. Turn 1 is so decisive to get a good run. Obviously, all the way up the straight. I imagine the GT4s must be flat. I think they're lacking downforce, but they don't really have enough speed for it to be an issue as it is. Obviously, like Ashlyn Reynolds alluded to in chat, we were at the Ginetta, the quirk of the Ginetta. They had it's a pretty old car, and it was homologated a long time ago, which means the 6-gear ratio doesn't let the car go past 240k. He's a smart Bushell, keeps it within the lines, but gets out of the way, and he isn't going to have time to go out again, unfortunately, after that.
So move to Bab, who's going through the long left hand of the Porsche, just about sticking to the road, maybe not, going onto the grass and sliding away.
Still valid.
Yeah, just about, but lost a bit of time as they head up the hill. So this is where you've got to carry a lot of minimum speed in these less powerful cars, otherwise you will lose a lot of lap time. But Bab looks to have had a reasonable run up the hill, as now you go right back down. So much elevation change here at Watkins Glen, as just carry the speed on the apex and get the power down as fast as you dare. You won't have too much reluctance from a Porsche, because it doesn't have too much power. It's nearly a 10th up, but just dwindling on the exit, running wide again onto the grass. So Bab really struggling with exit understeer, it seems like, as just a dab of the brakes in GT4 cars, and then all the way to the outside curb before you flick it across. Final corner, 718 came in, rounding the final corner to finish its last lap here in the GT4 section of this qualifying. It's not going to be an improvement, and it's 55.4, so 55.1 is what Bab is going to have to take.
We'll have one more last bite of the cherry for this lap, as the TCXs will be surely descending into the track in 5 seconds time. GT4 is headed up by Lucas Keys, followed by Joshua Holmes and Logan Burton. from the Aston to the Porsche to the Mercedes. So good spread there. Then Herbert in the BMW, followed by Johnson. Do watch for that BMW. It is pretty rapid when it comes to the straight lines, I will say, and especially in the draft. So it'll be interesting to watch that one in the straights. Obviously, in the top left as well, I should just note the 6 out of 20, obviously, that denotes the current class, and the one underneath it, the 24 out of 57, denotes where it's positioned across all classes and relative to the rest of the field. So that way you can keep track of who's winning what. Grid will come now. It says he's not on a valid. I know he's not on a valid now after that excursion. I don't think he's going to be going much faster. I'll be surprised if that wasn't invalidated. Logan Burton right now, 1/10 down, coming into pretty much the final sector of the track in the Mercedes GT4. Another car which seems to have shown promise as well in certain cases in the GT4 class. It is hard to tell because we do, unfortunately, GT4s run so infrequently, for better or for worse. And hopefully you can see, unfortunately, he's lost a ton of time in that last corner alone as well. So half a second down. Maybe just feeling things out and maybe practice a pit stop entry. Not that we have any required pit stops before the 60-minute race coming up, as Bab, dead set even on his Delta, fires it into the last corner, right up against the wall. Will ACC Delta pay him any more additional time? Doesn't look like it. No, 4/100s down from where he was, but a good effort all around.
Yeah, so now the BMWs will get ready for their turn. The TCXs, just look at those little M2s. How tiny are they? They are so small. Yeah, they have basically no power, basically no downforce, and it is just pure wrestling the car. So this is, I mean, it's a very tricky car to drive, actually. Like, not to just be on the pace, but just to be that extra level of quick. It takes a lot of wrestling, and you have to actually have some proper commitment to try wrangle these things around the lap. They're always sliding, so you've got to have trust in that BMW to slide in the right direction.
Absolutely, a very short wheelbase. And yeah, I can't say I've driven these much. I think I've driven once, and I didn't really get on. I'm sadly a GT3 elitist, and I'm here to drive GT3s, and I generally rarely drive anything else. But it's cool to have the diversity at the very least, and obviously the T6s are popular in their own right. Probably going to be the tightest racing, I imagine, being single make across all these fields.
Yeah, I would imagine so, as I have driven these things a few times, not a lot of times. On ACC, I'm not the greatest fan, but on R-Factor 2, I know not a lot of people like R-Factor 2, but they drive very nicely there. So, I am quite a fan of these cars.
Yeah, and be very familiar to anyone who watches the N24, as these pretty much have their own class somewhat out there, kind of where they kind of started to emerge from, as also in the TCX class as well for the SR American series. Interesting little cars, 7 speeds, and you know, as he reads the brochure, apparently 365 horsepower in these little things. Pretty cool. So they seem to bring a new one out every couple of years. So I think there's already a new one of these. So this one's outdated at this rate. So
Yeah.
He sets the first time, and then there's only 1/10 of the slowest GT4s. Unfortunately, my car number 13 there. I think he might get pipped by Mr. Peach, given his the pace we know that Jean-Pierre can produce.
Yeah, he's not just good at cracking a good dad joke, he's also pretty quick around the track. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see an M2 there in the mix with a GT4 car. That could be quite entertaining even in the race. That could be very interesting to see as JP Peach just pushing along and wrestling the car. 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes left in this M2 segment. Everybody now is just getting their laps in, and now it's just all about who's going to be able to hook it up the best as we continue to look here at Peach, who's heading up the hill. And this is where carrying speed is crucial, as if you bog down these things, you're not getting back. You're not going again, pretty much. I always found it really difficult because it's basically like driving a go-kart in a way. You've always got to have the momentum up. If you drop revs, you are not gaining them back.
Indeed. Apologies if there was any issues with my microphone. Wasn't sure what was happening there. There's one push to talk, so hopefully that isn't an issue. Demiano Fercolini, though, going around the long outer loop and into turn 8 now. Should be a pretty tight spread. He's got Henderson ahead of him only by 5 1,000s on the timing board. We've obviously got a fair few quick drivers in this class as well. Obviously, we've got Chris Murphy, Sasha Def, Aiden Squires as well. That's very deep from Demiano. And that, well, unfortunately, hurt is a positive delta pretty hurt. And obviously, with these cars being a little bit slow, I guess theoretically you would get less chances to get the lap time in. So you got to make it count in these things.
Yeah, I mean, 2-minute lap times just under. If you're really quick, I think was Peach under 2 minutes. I'm not even quite sure.
Yes.
Yeah, just 1:59.4. So just about. So you get what in 10 minutes? That 5 chances. Yeah, like 5 laps, but that's not including the outlap.
Indeed. Yeah, I think I'm surprised these things are not that far off the GT4s, to be honest, in terms of pace. Obviously, it comes down to the drivers a little bit, and I think there can sometimes be a bit more of a field spread with these cars if people are a little bit more familiar. This is probably not the cars that people are used to driving as well. Obviously, we've got regular series, sprint series starting up at the end of the month as well, so looking forward to that. But obviously, everyone will be pretty much accustomed to GT3s. But it's nice to have this little trio series. Obviously, we'll have 3 rounds over the next couple of weeks, and hope everyone is here to enjoy the great racing. I'm really looking forward to the start, mainly because I like chaos, and it should be pretty interesting. We're up to 57 cars as well. Yep, we've got the teams, so obviously there'll be a few obviously teams that are all collaborating with other GT4s and GT2s as well. I believe PG Tocham with Jean-Pierre is can't remember who is at the very top of those ones, but obviously Luke Keys as well. Which you see is Jean-Pierre is gone ahead of one of the GT4s with Byron. I'm sure probably it won't be enough to really make too much of a difference off the start, as they'll probably get out-dragged immediately, but I think it's more so staying out of trouble. Everyone's going to have to back off a little bit, especially further down the field on the start.
Yeah, and I think the start in a multi-class race is one of the most important things. Maybe not for the TCXs, but for GT4 and GT2, if you find yourself falling down into a slower class, it is very, very interesting, because you have to then fight your way through slower cars, and then you're just bleeding time to the cars in front of you all the time.
Absolutely. So only 60 seconds left. We're on board now with Glory Babby in the Oz Team racing car, wanging it through the chicane with a sideways action. The fastest way is with 5% slip, is what the professionals always say with racing, to go through the corners. As Pete Chambers now as well. Babby, different Babby from the one in the GT4 class in the Cayman. It's a different Babby, but in the TCX car. Currently second as well, about 6 tenths off Jean-Pierre. So Jean-Pierre is really setting the pace here in the TCX class, and you can't really say it's a car. There's no bop discussions in TCX. It's all the same machinery. Everyone gets the same thing, and I can't imagine you do much with the setups with these cars as well. I mean, obviously it'll be a factor, but probably impact the car a little bit less, I imagine, than the GT3s. Definitely don't have much error, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, GT3s is half car, half setup, and then the driver then takes up whatever is left, apparently, of 100%. I don't know what's going on. That's hitting the wall. There, the last name fitting there, Death hitting the the wall and nearly causing an accident on his own, pretty much. That would have been a poor ending to this qualifying, but now the clock hits 0. This is now TCX's finishing up as they cross the line, as it's looking like it's going to be Page there taking your pole position, with Abby taking the P2 in TCX, and that is an interesting qualifying wrapped up. But the race is the main thing we are here for. 60 minutes soon, and still got a couple of drivers coming to the line, and it looks like a 3/10 improvement, well, was going to be, from Foster. But yeah, the 60-minute race coming up, multi-class. It's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. Got our final runners got left, and I think Payano, I apologize, I probably butchered that name, but says he's on an invalid lap, but I think otherwise the session will be ticking forward, so he's probably still on a valid. And not last right now, currently in TCX, quickly going around the final couple of corners. And yes, it can be very, oh dear, and I think, oh no, the camera just changed, my bad. I thought he hit the wall and that was that done. But yes, gonna be incredibly congested into turn 1. It's normally pretty dicey here, turn 1, even in just a normal race, frankly. And especially coming up the hill, as the track doesn't really narrow, but everyone has to try and, you know, find their own lines. And I don't think everyone's gonna be going flat out there. You see a little bit of a strobo at the end as well. So yeah, 57 cars on the grid, 60-minute race, no mandatory stops or anything. It should be dry for the rest of this race. I believe we have fixed weather, so no threat of rain. And look at the sea of cars and engines and tires. Oh my goodness, I think we're going to need a few spares after this.
Yeah, I think we're going to see quite a few people meeting barrier here between all of the classes. 56 cars on a grid is always going to be tricky to pull off, and multi-class as well, with lap traffic and however many laps it takes, is going to be very interesting. But now we're going to get our grid rundown here.
Absolutely, we won't run through all the cars, but we'll run out the top 10. But there is Rackmat followed by Rose in the KTM, and obviously Taufik and Spinazzi making up a Maserati second row for 711 and 111. Slade and Bevis also matching a set of Audis for the third row. Great to see a couple of Audis there. And also Niparis and, oh, it's 2x2x2. It's Niparis and McDowell's making up at a KTM fourth row as well, followed by Bubnow and Underwood, breaking the trend of the Maserati and KTM. Great to see, as I said, all these liveries as well. That is going to be the top 10 for GT2s. And obviously, lots of great liveries out there. Pit Vipers there, we can see doing a great job. I imagine those were made by Benjamin Hignett as well. Always does a great job on liveries.
Yeah, Pit Vipers always make a display in GT3s, and apparently now GT2s, as we look at the Red Bull liveried KTM. So now Audi and an Aston Martin in the mix there as well. Is looking, I don't even know what's on the side of that Aston. I did not see it.
I think I already know because I spoke to some guys earlier. No, oh no, I think yes, I think I have a way. It's a stick figure holding some chicken. Another Pit Viper, excellent livery there on the M4. I do like the M4 GT4. It's the one I mainly because I like things that go fast down the straights. The Ginetta is a standard default livery, but great to see it there as well. The Porsche GT4 Cayman. It's another great GT4 livery. It should help us identify the teams. A couple of MRT cars as well. The Maserati McLaren. Another Red Bull BMW.
Oh, and there's the big boat. Look at how much bigger that Camaro is. Like, look at these Camaros, and then look at the cars behind them. It is huge.
It is relative. I will say the TCXs are not as small as, like, they're pretty much the size of some of the GT4s in their own way. As
Yeah, I mean,
cars
I
get
did think
ever
they were a bit
bigger
smaller.
year on year, don't they?
Yeah, they always just get a little bit incrementally smaller. Bigger, sorry. And we see that a lot, especially with race cars. They're just always getting bigger and bigger and bigger because they just want more aero.
Yeah, more aero, more tread width as well, and interesting to see is formation lap now underway. This is where I'm worried because I hope there's nothing happens here. I've probably already cursed it, but yeah, this is where unfortunately it's pile-up city, and I think if we get one, we might have to do a server restart. We'll leave that to the race directors and admins, but hopefully, because unfortunately, once you get up there, people don't really have a lot of time to react and going fairly quickly, even if they are in a TCX. Maserati heads up the field. I do like the Maserati, but I wish it was a GT3 car, because maybe it'd actually get used instead of just in this series that people don't run much.
I mean, the problem is, though, everybody who would want to run a Maserati would end up running a 296 anyway, so...
Yeah, it's true. Indeed, it is not a million miles away from each, but it does look kind of cool. I like the front end of it. Yeah, as you can see, it is pretty much mostly KTMs and Maseratis for GT2s that do seem to be the two strongest cars there, but nice to see is the Mercedes and the Audi. I think the Mercedes is pretty damn rapid down the straights as well. A couple of Audis, no Porsches of the GT2 make. I think that's a couple of GT2 Porsches. None of them have been selected here tonight, much to Straw Muller's dismay, I imagine.
Yeah.
Coming down now to the back straight, the boot, as according to my track map, was the little back part, and going double file formation already. I'm sure the stewards are gritting their teeth a little bit.
Yeah, I think
is coming up.
Yeah. You think you've seen Carnage and Sprint Split Yellow? Nah, this is gonna be a whole nother level. So
the other TCX is struggling to catch up at the back as well. And someone in the GT4 is a bit too far back of where they should be, the number 13 car. You can see that they're standing out a little bit wildly. But we're going to be going now. As you see, the TCXs are rushing to try and catch up. It is a bit of a late line here, so the start is generally around the halfway point with the green flag. It's at 60 minutes now, 33 degrees track temp. Long way to take 60 minutes of no tires and the optimum strategy. You switch to the helicam. Obviously, race start will be initializing in 5 red lights, as Crocky says. And we're waiting for the green flag here at Watkins Glen here on Wednesday night. And it's a good jump from the pink Audi. It jumps into third place as well, as looks like Mia Rose has gone round the outside as well as Fably Rakhmat, and it's a drag race from the second grid as well now, as everyone is still jockeying for positions and hopefully everyone else is clean. Ooh, the Audi gets a little bit scuppered and it's a bad run and is going to be overtaken by the KTM of McDowell, but does manage to come back a little bit ahead as everyone is taking things a little bit easy. It's great to see, but everyone is still kind of jockeying for position somewhat. Those Audis are pretty rapid down the straights and the KTM's not so much. As unfortunately the Audi's gone way too deep and unfortunately hit the orange KTMs, and that's unfortunately gone spinning out there at the chicane, but thankfully well out of danger. And unfortunately there is some death at the back, but I think in grand scheme of things were not too bad, thankfully. As I think a couple of TCXs unfortunately coming to scuppered all the way down the straights, but it's still green flags right now, yellow flags out for that section 44. Ooh, no, I think that's Peachter. That's our TCX pole position has come a muck. Michael Babb as well in the Cayman GT4 has had some moments as well and looked like he's wrestling to get control back as well, as Spinazzi now behind Slade in the pink Audi. Made a great start off the grid. Oh, Bob now defending now from the Maserati and another KTM as well, Viney and Price. Everyone wants a bit of action right now. Hopefully everyone just takes it a little bit easy.
Yeah, so OOR's down the inside goes Price. That would have been a risky corner. to try and make that lunge, but he nearly did completely commit to it. That would have ended up in a disaster, I'm sure, as the first lap of this race is a 48.4 set by Mia Rose, who is leading the way from Fadley Rackmat as going off the track there at turn 1. But the track limits of Watkins Glen are quite forgiving, so you can end up going very wide and still managing to get a no-time gain. But now as we head up the hill, will we see a swap for the lead? It does look like Rackmat got a pretty good run when they head up the hill towards the bus stop chicane. Will we see any moves? No, just it's too risky to go for a move there, especially in a car like a GT2. They're just too skittish, too unpredictable, I think, to try and go for a move at a high-speed corner. But this is the fight for the lead, and they've already put a bit of a gap to P3, who then has Spinazi hot on their heels. So it's going to be, I think, a battle, a race of many battles, not just because of the classes, but just because the driver difference as well. I think in this GT2 class, who is most adapted to these GT2 cars is going to be really interesting to see, because racing these things is entirely different to qualifying them.
Absolutely, it is a bit of a fight as Spinazi here has a run on Slay, but backs out of it as he felt like he didn't have enough overlap, and playing it cautious indeed. So I do want to see no half sends very much, thank you. But yeah, Rackmat and Rose look to be a class of a field, and I have to say we didn't really allude onto it before, but yeah, the KTM's not very great, not very strong down the straights. As we see now, I think, yeah, that's the KTM of Nippers that was hit at the start by the green Audi for GT2 class. Yeah, I think a few RTGs. There's Peach, our TCX pole, Piano, and it looks like Ramesh as well. A few cars have gone back to pits, and some of them are still damaged. Dylan Gamble. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, there was a unfortunate bit of a collision between some of the GT4s and TCXs at the very back of the field coming onto the straight. Unfortunately, is the danger zone at this track in particular, and sad to see. I think that's 2 cars in one there. Let's see now,
Yeah.
Bub now in the Maserati. You can see the straight line speed, especially if he's got a draft, and oh, he's sending up the inside. Oh my goodness, wasn't sure if there was an overlap there, but thankfully there was no collision as well, as he's all over the back of Underwood. The KTM's, if they're in front, they're just giving a nice old slipstream to the cars that are already quicker down the straights enough than the Austrian car.
Yeah, and I think that is something the GT2 class, I think it's pretty well balanced at the top end of pace, but in the race, the different style of car and the way that they actually extract the pace is like it's really intriguing, but it can create some very funny moments when it comes to trying to go for overtakes. As in the background there, I think there were 2 cars about to battle away. But yeah, the Maserati makes its time up uh, in the straights, whereas the KTM very much does not like the straights, and it goes very quickly in the corners. And you can just kind of tell from the shape of the car, almost like it's a lot more pointed down, whereas the Maserati, it's just not as aggressive, and I think that's where a lot of it would come from. It's just the shape of the body of these GT2s, as the Mercedes being the big boat it is, basically covering the entire shot of Austin in the background in that Maserati. It is absolutely huge, but it's pretty skinny. As we head down through turn 1, Rondinella might be under a bit of pressure here from Austin as they head up the hill and onto the run to the bus stop. So here we go. We're only 6 minutes in. There's already been a lot of chaos, as you can see, just the track map being pretty split up, even inside of the classes. GT4s and TCXs mixing together as the 222, is that? Yeah, it is the 222. Yellow flag there on the track map on the right-hand side has since disappeared, but we might get a replay on that, depending on what happened, as Rondinella just holding station for the moment, and actually is looking like they could attack Lewis in a couple of corners' time.
Absolutely. The Mercedes GT2 is an absolute weapon. Doesn't share the same engine as its GT3 counterpart, but still a V8 twin turbo. and pushing up, I think over 700 horsepower is that car. I'm not too sure in race trim, obviously, depending on BOP, but that's what the base output is for that car, and it's arguably. I don't think it's even arguable. I think it is the fastest car in the straights here. So it's why he kind of blew away from the Maserati when he was under threat after turn one from Austin, and then powered down the straights. But obviously, he paid dividends in corners a little bit, as you see Rondinella sliding a little bit. Looks like A. Lewis, though, in the Audi is doing a good job. The Audi, not too bad down the straights either as well. And yeah, Rondinella looks like he's all over the place. He just looks like reminds me of the GT4 cars with the amount of suspension, lean and wallowing that GT4 Mercedes has. Kind of just ducking and diving under the brakes, not looking as flat as some of the other cars. Absolutely, and a bit shallow entry and a little bit. It's so easy to get turn one wrong, and I believe the track limits, as long as you keep 2 lines on the red and yellow curb, you should be okay. But it's so easy to mess up the corner.
Yeah, turn one is always very, very tricky at Watkins because you carry so much speed into it, and then you stomp so hard on the brakes, and then once you get to the curb, you're either going to be able to take it, or you turn in too much and you hit it, and it bounces your car up. And especially in a car like a GT2 car with the soft suspension hitting that inside curb, you might think it'd be nice, but it bounces the car around a lot more. As we saw Rondinella go very wide, as Austin is sticking the nose in as they go side by side through the long left-hander. And who will take the position? Will Rondinella be able to defend from the very quick through the corners and the straights Maserati, as Austin backs out of it, and Rondinella living to fight another day as the KTM of Plus also now trying to get involved.
Yeah, Rondinella looking a little bit all at sea, a little bit in the corners, obviously kind of having to feel the car up a little bit in race trim with a bit more fuel in it as well. It did take the high line in around the outer loop, and not really to his benefit. Oh my goodness, again, all out sideways. He's really struggling there, is Jaden. And he's going to be under threat now again from the Maserati, but he keeps it. No, he doesn't keep it on track, absolutely. And unfortunately, he is letting Lewis get away and holding these two back somewhat. But right now, he is ahead right now, and I don't think Austin's going to have much ability to get past him here. He's ducking out to let him know he's there, but he isn't going to do anything from that far back. And Jaden, he can just even afford to get this turn one wrong, but it doesn't matter because the power of the AMG up this section, you'll see him pull away from the Maserati. Even so, here it is pretty ridiculous. But yes, thank you, Glenn. As we got, oh my goodness, there's a GT4 involved in all of this as well. The McLaren. Oh my goodness, Page has gone upside down.
No.
Oh no, and everything's it's calamity,
God.
it's death. Avert your eyes, children. As Page still sliding on his roof upside down. I'll be looking forward to watching his stream later on and his reaction. I'm sure it's probably a few expletives have been gold. But wow, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not surprised Page RTG'd after that one, because I don't think he had a choice in the matter.
Yeah, I would hazard a guess, as I think we now are seeing some lap traffic here in the GT2 class, and that creates one of the bigger factors of a multi-class race. You see the blue flags being waved in the background, and this is where multi-class racing can really get exciting. This is where we can see races made or broken, and it's going to be interesting to see how everyone decides to play getting through, if they're going to be safe or aggressive. But when it comes to Rondinella, at least at that hairpin, he is very aggressive.
It looks like Rackmat also has dropped down from second into third place as well, which leaves Mia in the lead, followed by Kafil Slade in the Audi. So it's all chop and change for the fight for P2. It is very close. I'm going to have a look there. Yep, here we go. Kafil Slade still got Rackmat all over the back room as they negotiate the TCX class traffic as well. A little bit of damage on the front of the Maserati. Something happened there as they fire into the chicane. Lots of curb taken. Cars always look so on edge there. Rackmat looks to the inside, but Kafil shuts it down, and more cars to negotiate. Fantastic stuff. Love it.
Is just getting past the Red Bull TCX, which is very cursed in my opinion, as we head up the hill, and there's more TCX traffic, and we can actually see a GT4 BMW there as well. So M2 versus M4. That's
Big slide from Slade.
yeah, Slade making a mistake, and will Rackmat be able to capitalise as we head into the hairpin? There is, I think that's an M4 in the way, as the long way around. Slade trying to defend the position. The gap is now going to tighten on the entry. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. The GT4 traffic forcing them to go closer together than they could have wanted. What's even happened there? I think that is, yeah, that's
a half
Rackmat.
spin.
Yeah.
A little small touch. That was all. Everything was kicking off there. As Slade and Rackman going side by side. They had to try and get around the GT4s, but I think there's a small touch in the half spin from Slade, and Rackman has come out on top. But yes, we need a replay surely. Thank you.
Yeah, but I need to. Like they just disappeared off the camera, and I was like, where have they gone? I thought Rackmat spun. I was like, oh no. That is disastrous, and that is just some of the carnage that lap traffic can ensue as we head down the straight. And once again, Slade finding himself in hot water with lap traffic. Oh no! Oh my God, he's pinballing between two BMWs, and the M2s really struggling, and the GT3s not being patient at all here as we head through the loop, and the long way around now. Slade is going to try, but the M2 carrying enough minimum speed, so until Slade can get on the power, he's not getting it done. As there we go, some more GT2 cars getting past these TCXs, but this is absolute carnage here in Watkins Glen. We're not even 15 minutes in quite yet, and it's all kicking off here, and there's another 46 minutes to see of it.
Absolutely, we've got many more laps to go. I was going to say, like, Slade, I'm going to say he got massively scuppered coming up the straight. He had to massively back out of it as the TCXs were having their own battle, and then he tried to thread the needle between the two of them. I'm really surprised all three cars were still going straight down after that one, but now we can see the green Maserati of Taufik is caught up massively to Taufik, and it's already caught up to Slade, who's already lost 6.5 seconds in basically a lap to Rackmat. That shows you how much things can go wrong. Obviously, he had a half spin, but then he also lost lots of time with the TCXs. It is the ebbs and flows of endurance, multi-class racing. We love to see it. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works very much against you.
I think one of the bigger key parts of multi-class racing is just keeping your head cool. Just every time you think you've been blocked and you've lost a lot of time, you might have at the moment, but the person in front of you will at some point as well. So you've just got to keep your head cool and make sure that you don't get too aggressive, as we now are going to see the Helicam replay. Yep, so the gap is closing. Helicam, just a big bit of door-to-door contact, and that was well held from Slade. But yeah, that was a bit less than I thought from the TV camera.
Thank you for that, Glenn. Yeah, it's tricky, that one, because I think, like as I said, they were going side by side. Slade was on the inside, but he still was, I think he was having to have a little bit of half awareness of the GT4, which it did clear, but he may not have realized at the time. You're having to look to your left mirror, and then you're having to look to your right mirror, because he's got a car on his inside and his right side. And I think obviously, like maybe the Maserati on the outside thought he could turn in at this point. There was enough space given. But yeah, we'll see if Stewart's coming up into that. As Slade, he got scuppered there between the cars, and I think his opportunity to. Yeah, I'm really surprised that all three cars were still facing straight after that one.
Multi-class racing, I guess.
Yeah, there's that shows you the art of choosing your moments of when to get past cars. And it was a little bit tricky for Slade. He already got slowed down, and the only gap that was really appearing was through the middle of both of them. But then unfortunately, the little prangs and bangs was it could have ended so much worse than it did, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, Slade is lucky to still be going in the direction he is around this circuit, and I think the GT2 cars are going to have to be very patient here at Watkins Glen, as the cars around them are a lot slower as we head down the straight towards the bus stop again, and in the background, Taufik getting past the 570S GT4, and now Slade is going to go down the inside of the bus stop on a GT4, and there we go. The impatience strikes, and Slade just about keeping it out of the wall, but I think Slade just needs to be a bit more patient.
I think that was Michael Babb, the GT4 Cayman. That was trying to send it up the inside of. It's already tricky enough when you have the same classic car with that corner, and yeah, I think that was maybe a little red miss, a little bit of impatience. Whether it was more on, we only saw wanging out a little bit, and unfortunately, Slade has had to pay for whether or not it was his mistake. It is always on the onus of the car behind, the faster car, to pass safely. We try to, I think, endurance racing, we try to always make sure that the GT4s and the solo class cars, they just race your line. Don't try and get out of the way. The faster cars will get around you. You just got to do your own line. Be predictable is the big words. Oh my goodness, it's all still kicking up ahead.
There's more GT2s as Slade once again just making a massive lunge. This time it doesn't not even half spin it, doesn't pretty much fully spin him around, but he's really got to be careful, but he's just trying to close back up to Underwood and Price, who are fighting in front of him, and it is going to be Audi versus KTM versus Maserati. And I mean, I know it's an hour, but still, it's a marathon in an hour, not a sprint. And Slade, I think, is thinking that it's a 10-minute race.
Yeah, it's there's been so much action that 20 minutes has already flown by, I will say, and it's yeah, I think going to be very interesting. Is there's a lot happening up ahead. I think yeah, Underwood and Price are having a few blows side by side. It looks like the Maserati of Price is going to get ahead down the straights as well, but he completely messes up the chicane and cuts to the grass and still manages to stay ahead. But unfortunately, oh no, Underwood has put two wheels in the grass, and that's not going to work out. It's going to be also close contact again, maybe with Slady, but it looks like they both managed to stay off it as well. I think Price might have to give that position back since he didn't actually make the chicane. Somehow managed to stay ahead as everything's getting cooked out. Oh, as the Maserati gets stuck under the TCX car. And oh my god, breathe. We need a moment.
Yeah, it's a never ending here, but we have to keep going as Underwood and Price still going to scrap away. As now will Slade go down the inside? He does think about it as it's 3 wide in the background. Then I'm not sure between what classes, but hopefully they all get through that unscathed as we now head up the hill into the hairpin, and Slade is pushing very, very hard. But I think that the front end of that Audi might just have a few scrapes on it from the GT, or not the GT4s, the TCXs.
I'm surprised any car out there is going to have a clean paint job as the GT4 BMW tries to get out of the way, and does successfully manage to survive the pack of GT2s coming through. They got enough straight line speed as Slady sends it up the inside of Underwood. Has he made the corner? Looks like he just about has. And Underwood loses their position. It's tucked up right underneath the wing of the Audi, but I'm not sure if he'll have enough power going up. I think there's a McLaren GT4 up ahead. Should hopefully find them at the right point that the GT2s can just sail by, but still some more GT4s to negotiate. Slady gets past the McLaren as well. Hopefully Underwood doesn't send it because he's too far back. Yeah, frankly, but unfortunately McLaren is all out of shape as he couldn't really turn in, whether he was on the outside of Slade, and somehow manages to survive as more grass tracking, more rally crosses happening as Slady is right underneath the Price of rear wing now, under the rear wing of Price, I should say. And going down now. Oh no, 666 is managed to have a yellow on the straight there. I think that's Babby. Looks like Day Dunn and the RTG as well.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get a look at that, as in the background there it was KTM versus Big Boaty Camaro. But down into the hairpin, it looks like Price is going to hold on against Slade, unlike Underwood at this time. Underwood did hold the place, but this time last lap, Slade was sticking the nose in, but then through the final sector, Slade is looking very, very pacey in that Audi, that hasn't really been in doubt, but it's just through the parts of the racetrack where the Audi is quicker, I think is surprising, because that Maserati is so quick in the corners. But I think the Audi is just looking like it's a nice little even ground. It looks pretty quick in a straight line and pretty quick in the mid to higher speed corners as well. So I think it might just be a bit of a all-around beast here, as the Maserati getting a bit out of shape, and that's a lot of GT4s. So as we head up the hill, this is now going to test their patience as they go down the inside already. Up the hill we go. The GT2's trying to find a way through on this GT4 pack, and they've luckily got drawn scathed. Oh my god! The Porsche pulls to the left and nearly puts Price. I mean, not Price. Slade. Yeah, that's. There's a yellow flag. It's TCX. Price. No, I said it. I've done it again. Slade into the grass as it's all kicking off here. The GT4 traffic in full swing now, and the GT2 cars have one heck of a mission ahead of them, as there's a yellow flag at the top of the track map there, and that is still the TCX BMW, I would imagine. The 117 car, as there's a mistake there from the Maserati of Price as we head up the hill. Surely now Slade will try and find a move at the hairpin as we head towards the braking zone. Will he go late on the brakes? Oh no, there's GT4 traffic in the way. So Slade just sticks to the line, gets a good run, and now in towards the second of the two hairpins. Will Slade go down the inside? He did dummy the move. He did stick his nose in, but Price not budging and just holding his line as we head once again into the final sector. These two have been nose to tail for quite a while now. That Slade looking quite punchy as there's more lap traffic here. As into the final corner we go, it looks like Slade getting held up a little bit more than Price was. The Alpine just staying as far out of the way as it can without compromising its own run too much. But that is meaning Slade can't go for a move down into turn one, much like he did on Underwood a few laps ago. As do they have a breather until the next set of lap traffic? Yes, just a little one. So Slade wants to get a move done and swap positions with Price. He's got to get it done before they catch that next batch of traffic, otherwise it's going to be very difficult. We now look. Yeah.
Composure and everything is fallen out the window here in the comm box. We've lost everything, and yes, we've breath. We need a moment. We're gonna slow things down with some TCX racing.
I just thought I'd jump in for a minute, guys, and have a chat too, because every time I've gone to look for a replay, 15 other things have happened that we wanted to have a look at a replay for, and I cannot get to the replays fast enough, to be honest. Not sure why Babby pulled it over and returned to garage. Not sure of what happened there. I couldn't find it on the replay, any sort of incident. Maybe he'll jump in the chat at some stage if he's gone for the day. But yeah, I think will be a few protests, I think, coming through.
Yes. I think yes. I think this is a reason to just I think this is why also I'm not sure if it's something we could really even do in the game. We'd have to manually organize it as Ivo Zavaka sends it up the inside of his slot in the light blue BMW. Indeed, sorry, no, that's my bad. That's Zavaka getting unlapped, I think, from another BMW. I'm not sure where that one is in the grand scheme of things. But yes, ignore me. But yeah, this is the reason why I think real life series with different classes tend to put a few at least I think they put like a 10-second gap between the starts, so that everyone is kind of a little bit spaced out, but it doesn't really make up for all the crashes that happened in this
subsequent laps. Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, also Watkins is catching a few people out there with just the chicane on their own, and that's one thing. It's not all just multi-class death. It's actually just the chicane, unfortunately, does punish some people really badly if you don't get it right, understandably. So, just like to point out as well, just bear in mind, all three of these classes all race in the Nürburgring 24-hour on a track that's about half the width of what this one, with about 5 other classes as well.
Mm.
Crazy.
Yes.
And that's why it's there. magnificent as well.
Yeah, but we don't have a Dacia Logan out on the track, so it's just a lot worse, I guess.
Yeah.
So, just at the moment, Babby is in the lead of the BMW M2 class from Death. Put my teeth in, and Aidan Squires. So, and they have been able to find some fresh air. All of those drivers, they've been pretty much out in the clear, away from all of the havoc. And in the GT4s, we've got Lucas Keys leading the way from Sean Brimblecombe. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, right? It's when the second you see Lucas Keys on the grid, you just think, oh no, that guy's definitely gonna finish at the back. Not. He's now lapping.
And you can see that's
he did the smart thing there.
He did.
Send it in. He had the speed, and that shows a mature element of racing from Lucas Keys, which is not something I say every day. Sorry, Lucas. Not sorry.
Lucas just being a bit more patient than Slade, and just to touch on like the traffic here. What are your thoughts on Slade's patience when it comes to trying to get past these TCXs?
Oh, you sound like you're trying to get me in trouble with my comments. My comments are about spicy enough. They don't need inciting. I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I think probably got a little bit of, red mist from some of the early collisions, rightly or wrongly. And unfortunately, sometimes that's when you got to shake things off, and as he tries to maintain full throttle and has to kind of induce a slide just to not go into the BMW. But yes, I think I mean, even he would admit there's probably some things to learn from this race. But obviously, yeah, multi-class racing is is not the only one out there. It's, there's going to be other people that are kind of not used to things. Oh my goodness! Speaking of things happening, there's two GT4s, GTXs, and GT2s all hammer and tong with the KTM. And things got really close there into the not the corner, but yeah, it's blimey.
Yeah, the third sector delivering here is now we see the TCX going out wide, and now the GT4s starting to kick off as the Ginetta trying to make a move on Brimblecombe. This is a move for second down towards turn one. Will the Ginetta be able to get it done under braking? Will Johnson be able to get this one done? The switchback from Brimblecombe getting that one done, and now Holmes trying to get involved. The two Porsches basically working together unintentionally there, and that is Johnson down 2 places with a lot of work to do. And then here comes the GT2 as we head down the straight, and the Maserati trying to find a way through, just plays it a little bit patient, cuts back underneath and should clear 2 of them, maybe all 3, as we head into the bus stop. Oh no, not again! As we head into the chicane, the GT2 just about surviving somehow. The GT4's putting on an absolute show here as Sparks nearly flying, but not quite, as now the Maserati continues to try and make a move on the GT4s around the outside of the long left-hander. Getting that one done as now we're about to head up the hill, and hopefully just on the exit we will see this GT2 get past Brimblecombe, and that is crisis averted. But that gave me a mini heart attack. Oh no, the Porsche into the wall, and that looks like hardware failure to me. That was
that looks very weird. Yeah.
Yeah, straight on. That looks like hardware failure to me.
There was a GT2 just behind him, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I wonder if there was a collision, or maybe he was escorted into the barrier, or there was just a lapse in judgment. Because not usually a place that you go off, but he's still trying to fight it out, still with with Johnson in the Ginetta. But yes, unfortunately, that's a sizable collision. You can see the scrapes and bangs on the left side. The teammates, almost close. Team close for Brimblecombe and his subsequent GT2 teammate getting as close as ever. Take that one for the photos, surely. Team photos at the end. But yeah, a bit too close for comfort, but that's what we love.
Yeah, that was centimeters between them. As I think we got a very good size comparison between the average GT4 and a GT2 car. Those GT2 cars are absolutely huge.
Yeah, especially that KTM is pretty long, got a lot of overhang. It's kind of like a little baby prototype, if anything. coming out on top in for P2 in GT2. Still a fair bit off. Not a replay. That's all right. And Brimmelcombe still, holding out P2 in the in GT4 class, and obviously Lucas Keys. I think Lucas Keys has got a fair old lead in GT4s. The class and names are enough for me to get mixed up. As Austin
Ooh,
now is
that
there's
was
a
a
car
cross the
stopped to the
side.
side there. I think it's a car 13, but Austin now a little bit under pressure from Nippers. I think Nippers, yes, Nippers was the orange KTM that was unfortunately punted off on first lap and has kind of been slowly recalling his way up the field. Very good driver as well as Matt Nippers as well, and we're kind of seeing that on his recovery drive as Austin is coming up the inside. Oh no, the blue. Oh no, and Nippers gets going again. Does he catch it? Does he catch it? I think he managed to get away with it, but still, unfortunate time loss there for Nippers. Oh dear.
Austin just getting a little bit impatient there, going down the inside, and it was never going to end up working, and spinning around for him, and yeah, that is quite unfortunate.
Past the
And
halfway mark.
yeah, I was just about to say that we're only just past the halfway mark, and we are already having heart attacks about every 2 seconds. I think this is the first time for 3 seconds straight we have not been panicking about multi-class carnage, but then there's a TCX right up the road.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully should blast past it. Yep, thankfully. And oh my goodness, And I don't know what to how do we continue at this point? How we say anything that we haven't said already? How do our voice boxes recover?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that we're probably going to end up having to repeat ourselves a lot because this. Oh, is this yellow flag? Oh no, 944. Is that 944? I don't know. It's,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, is the two
Calvin
GT2 cars? Yeah. This is for P2 in GT2 class. The top class here in this three-way multi-class event. And
it's Rackmat. Where's Rackmat? Rackmat's down already. It's apologies. Sorry to interrupt. Rackmat's fallen to the bottom of the GT2. So, oh my goodness, I think while we left GT2s for a moment, and it all chop and changed again.
It's fine. We'll find out later, I guess. There we go.
Thank you very much, Glen. Yeah, everyone pause.
Here we go, down the inside at turn 1, and Taufik trying to make his way into P2 as I don't even know how to say that last name. Bevis, yeah. Bevis trying to get the cutback, but Taufik getting the move done for the moment, and now Bevis will be trying to make the move back as we head down the straight. This is where the Audi is a bit stronger than that Maserati as we head towards the bus stop. Surely not. These two just going to be a bit more patient. Yep, as Bevis just slots in, and Taufik now being P2 in your GT2 class here. And Mia Rose is absolutely gone. I don't have the gap at the moment because it disappeared because ACC leaderboard.
26 seconds.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. But Mia Rose is just absolutely flying. Is now more GT4 and GT2 action. As we head up the hill.
Pace is irrelevant. Just not dying.
Yellow flags. The 979. Car, as that is Price actually from earlier on in the race when we had a big battle. So.
Oh no! I always get worried when cars are dead up the back straight. It's just such a sketchy plate. We'll see what happened to Rackmat. Oh no, there's a recovering GT4 BMW. What are you doing?
Oh no!
That's not on. Oh, that car's busted. Yep, that is X race car.
Yeah, that is totaled.
Yeah, it looks like there was a recovering GT4.
Oh, look at that steering. That's drivable. That's drivable.
It's a mini cab now.
It'll buff out.
Average rental car. Yes,
The
a
uptake on the hammer.
GT4 BMW was had a moment, was recovering, and maybe forgot he had a bunch of steering block in, and kind of got himself out of the way, and then immediately got in the way again. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I do know that sometimes when you're on wheel, and even when you do hold the brakes, if your car isn't completely stopped and you're going, oh, I'm just gonna shush for a second as we look to Murphy versus Lewis's now TCX in the mix as we go up the hill. I was thinking that the TCX might have been turning in. I was like, please no, and he did just go out very wide as yeah.
Shout out to Rackman. He's still in the race. He's still out there driving. He's repaired his damage. Unfortunately, a lap down on the leader, but he's still out there, still giving it everything. Kudos to him, because I'm sure a lot of people would have just parked it up after that one.
Yeah. As now we look.
A bit worried about the team colours, because it was the same colour car that he had. I hope that wasn't his team. I don't think it would have been, but it was a red and black car.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll leave it at that. We do appreciate you finding that one for us, Glen. And, at least he's got fastest lap as Rackman. He's got fresh tyres and he can afford to, do Ricardo. But I'm pretty sure he'll be around for the next race, unlike Ricardo. Sorry.
Oh, that hurts. That's so mean. That is.
Had to do it, but it's pretty bad.
It really didn't. Oh.
Just gotta open that wound back up.
Oh, it's just like right through the gut. Just like rip it open. Like.
Nipper sends it up the inside of Viney. Oh, it was a bang and a scuffle as well. And maybe a little bit deep on the brakes there from Nippers. And Viney retains his position, but won't be too encouraged by that, as McLaren GT4 stays well out the way. I think everyone who's not a GT2 is just like, get out the way. Just don't want to be anywhere near these cars.
Yeah, I think that the GT4s got sent a few too many times, same with the TCX, and now they're just like, oh, another class, let's just move.
Yeah. I think the GT4s and TCXs are kind of like in a, got their own truce. They're not that too different in terms of speed between them, but it's the GT2s that they're in they're afraid of, rightly, wrongly. But yes, obviously it is a bit tricky, especially with the converging lines of going up the hill onto the back straight. You kind of go from the right side of the track, and then you go to the left side of the track, and then you go to the right side of the track again, then back to the left. Obviously, things get a bit tricky. It's narrow, it's wall lined, and then there's obviously the big, the bus stop, the chicane, whatever you want to call it, as well at the end of the back straight as well. As we see, Bremblecom now looks like it's all over the back of Holmes, who isn't getting perturbed by the damage and the crash that he had a few laps ago, as Bremblecom sends it at the inside with a half note, and unfortunately scares Josh Holmes off his line, and position gained as a result.
Yep, mind punts going on here, there, and everywhere as a TCX right in front of these two GT4 Porsches, but hopefully nothing will happen. They should just clear them as they head into the braking zone as the M2 kind of moving across, trying to get out of the Porsche's way. It caused more harm than good, but Holmes keeping it together very nicely and not losing out any time, well, not a lot of time at all to Bremblecombe, thankfully, but that nearly was disastrous.
Yeah, not too ideal, but at least it happened on the straight, and at least, oh my goodness, and now on Nippers and Viney round two as they got past the Camaro, as Viney is kind of wants to send it up the inside of the GT4 BMW. It's all scuppered, and they're gonna go around the outside. They're gonna Schumacher and Hakkinen round Zonta in theory, as they just get around either side of the GT4 BMW. Not quite like how it happened in Belgium many years ago.
I mean, that would be a very nice photo, though. 3 wide there, like, and the two KTM's with the BMW in the middle. That would be a very nice photo, I think.
Indeed, I think that BMW's gone off and had his own accident as just in retaliation.
He's just
looks like
turned around it.
yeah, he's just trying to get around as 18 minutes ago, as I said, there's not been a dull moment. I'm sure some drivers have probably been quite frustrated. Those have been taken out. I think Peach, understandably, was not too happy with his new haircut after sliding down the back straight on his roof. But yeah, there's gonna be frustration. There's gonna be tears. There's gonna be spills. And thankfully, those of us who watch the stream and get to commentate over us are the main beneficiaries because we just get to watch all the action with none of the downsides.
Well, except for when we have a heart attack.
Oh yeah, I can't talk for a week after this race. Thanks.
Yeah. As
Can't put
the
that
two KTMs
unexpected.
going at it as Nippers goes down the inside, and once again they make
No.
contact. But this time it's a half spin for Nippers, and it's almost an identical incident to a lap or two before. But this time it's an even worse
Austin.
loss, as Nippers is now going to lose out to Austin as we head up the hill. The KTM just not having the run up the hill it needs because of the poor turn one, and that is Austin now in the leaders. That is a flying Pirelli board. That would have been funny if it landed on Nippers' KTM. But now they're going to have to negotiate their way through on a TCX BMW as Austin runs wide. Now the KTM is going to try fight back. Nipper is trying to find it around the outside of the long right-hander. He gets the cut back, and now they're going to go side by side. Nipperus and Austin are fighting wheel to wheel as we head into the braking zone, and Austin just backs out of it. Nipperus getting the position back. A nice little bit of hard-fought racing there, and that is probably the least terrifying bit of racing we've seen all night, but it's not over yet as Austin tries to stick the nose in. And with 16 minutes to go, the gloves are coming off.
Absolutely, and
No, they weren't. They really weren't.
And Nipper's coming a cropper at turn one. I'm not sure, but it was kind of a bit of an early turn in from the outside KTM, or he was just kind of a bit too sending it a bit too hard, and it's clearly stewards of either they died on lap one as well, or there's no live stewarding for this event. I think the latter is the case. But there'll be some words, I'm sure, probably from the race directors after this race, reminiscing the wars of split yellow Cota of last the last sprint that we had. Oh dear, it wasn't that bad, maybe. But yes. That's just there's so many close calls, even when just normal things are happening. It's just the normal lines as the Nipper is almost trades paint with the M2 just now, and yes, Viney isn't that far up the road as well, so he's didn't lose out too much. As I said, a half spin's better than a full spin, that's for sure.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see the battle continue as Austin went up the inside of the TCX, but was able to clear it before the middle of the corner. Unlike Slade earlier in the race, he got very caught out when he went up the inside, as that is Viney trying to make his way past on a BMW M4 GT4, and he gets through very nicely as now Nipperus will be the next one to go for it, and he's going to go down the inside at the uphill hairpin and easy as he wants, and now he's going to continue chasing down Viney, and he'll try go for the move again, but these two have made contact at turn one many times. I think every time we've cut to them at turn one, they've been wheel rubbing, but the last time it turned into a half spin, so hopefully we don't see that again here with 14 minutes to go, as that is Viney trying the outside, and now Nipperus trying the outside, both getting through, as this is just making them close up more and more, as GT4 KTMs now are in the mix with the GT2 ones, and this is going to create an interesting moment at the final corner. Surely the GT4 just backs out of it, lets Nipperus go. He does, and less time loss for both of them that way, as also in the background, Austin got through on the M2, and now Austin clearing the GT4 KTM. So the lap traffic dealt with very nicely at that moment, as we are approaching the dying stages of this race, but the action is anything but dying at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's been a little bit frustrating with the GT2s a little bit. I think it's just a matter of patience with some of them because they've got so much more speed than every other class that they can make execute their overtakes in a very clean manner. It's just a little bit of I think everyone's getting a little bit too impatient. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're in a fight with another GT2, and then suddenly you come a cropper, and you're trying to like retain the position and not lose the position, but sometimes it's better to not obviously have a crash in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, tires will be a little bit worn out now. It's been 47 minutes, a fairly warm day, no change for tires.
There's a
There's a
yellow flag.
gaggle of TCXs and GT4s up ahead for these two as they get ever closer to each other. The prime time is ready as they thread the needle between the two. On the GT4, the TCXs, and the GT4 Camaro, as well as the GT4 BMW as well. And they managed to get through pretty well as Nippers wants to the inside line for the next corner and goes pretty much off the track to get it as well from the Camaro. And still pretty much the same gap between these two as a result.
As I think just for people who might not understand how chaotic this traffic is just from looking at it, look at the track map. No matter where you look,
Yeah.
there are a bunch of cars together and they're in a bunch of different classes. This is as chaotic as it gets here in multi-class because it is such a big pace difference between GT2s to the GT4s, and then the GT4s and the TCXs are pretty similar on pace, and it is just creating such carnage, and there's still 12 more minutes to go of it. And look at the train ahead on that track map where our two drivers are. They have non-stop traffic pretty much until the end of this race, because every time they get past one car, there is another right in front of them. So this is going to be a chaotic finish to the end of this race.
So yeah, Mia Rose been doing a great job out the front and kind of showing a little bit of prowess now in endurance racing as well. Kind of they've had the gap, they've had the lead, and they've obviously been threading the traffic as and when they need to with no incidents at all. Is why they have a 33-second gap to P2. Obviously, there's been some incidents a bit further down the field, but they took the lead at turn 1 and have dominated the race as a result and not got any incidents. And it's a real class act now showing from the Pit Viper Alpha car of Mia Rose for 909 in the KTM GT2. That said, 11 minutes to go, so just got to keep things on track. They got a little bit of gap, as I said. There's pretty much no real gaps in this whole anywhere in this whole track because the field's spread. A lot of people like that, endurance racing. They kind of like having traffic to negotiate with. It keeps you alert, keeps you on brand. To be honest, just doing kind of laps by yourself with no one around you gets a little bit dull, a little bit gets easy to make the lose your rhythm somewhat. And having traffic to negotiate always kind of keeps things a little bit spicy, for sure.
Yeah, but it's also keeping you alert. It can't keep you alert when it knocks you out when you end up in a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Peja's case, as we look at Mia Rose just negotiating the traffic, and I mean, there's not much to Mia Rose's race, I would imagine, just cutting through traffic and driving away.
Yeah, obviously helps you in a dominant position. You can kind of afford a second here and there if you have to as well. Obviously, matters a beneficiary, but they've their own work has got themselves into that position as we go back to the fight between Underwood and Slade. The pink Audi that we're all familiar with now, unfortunately, after today. And the Blue Flag Express from Underwood as well, and the KTM. A nice inside shot. Ooh, Slade is completely just gone off there. I'm not sure what happened there. It's completely wide, where he locked an inside front. And there's a completely loss of position as a result. Whether that was a let by, I'm not too certain. As they're looking to attack into the next corner, so I'm not sure, but it was a let by.
Yeah, I mean, Slade has been a little bit up and down this race, very aggressive, as we are still seeing. Every single time Slade has a car in front of him, he's trying to go down the inside, and we're seeing it again here in this 10 minutes to go portion of the race, and hopefully we don't see any late incidents because of it. But that pink Audi definitely very, very aggressive behind the wheel, just trying not to lose any time. But I think in trying not to lose any time, Slade might have lost more time over the course of this race just from contact.
Yep.
KTM and the Audi going at it here, and the Mercedes in the background, Rondinella, we saw earlier in this race holding up, I think it was actually, Blues here as Rondanella's gone off and rejoins, and they are going to sail all the way to the outside of the track. They keep it out of the wall though, but Blues now trying to get it done on the outies. We head down into turn 1, a bit of traffic in the way as well. Will Blues go down the inside in that orange KTM on the Audi? No, but they are pretty much touching the rear wing of that Audi. But now we know once they head into that acceleration zone, the Audi will just pull away and pull away and pull away. So maybe that's why Blues decided not to go for a move, because he would have just been re-overtaken. But Rondanella with some work to do to catch back up. 8 minutes to go. This is the fight for P12, and these guys scrapping away like they have been, I'm sure, this entire hour-long race. And Rondanella going down the inside of the bus stop, trying to get that one done on Bluth, but the Mercedes not able to have the grip under braking. And now as we head through the long right-hander, Bluth makes contact with Lewis, and just about Lewis is able to hold it together. But now as we head into the braking zone, Rondanella will get involved as well. Rondanella not able to brake late, but it's still too late. He runs into the back of Lewis, a bit of lap marker traffic getting involved there as well, as now Lewis is stranded on the side of the track and bounces off the wall, and that is a disastrous finish here. And that was, oh, and there's another car off as well. I think it's the KTM. So everything's kicked off there, and I think a replay just to look at what actually happened there, because I think lap traffic might have caused just a little bit of it, as Underwood now up the hill trying to get a move. Gets that.
Bit of a fight now as well, also for GT4s and McLaughlin, Burton and Greenwell all kicking off a little bit there as well. And ooh, there's someone else going off there. I think that's a Maserati. I think that's McLaughlin. Speaking of which, he's made a mistake, and Burton's gone through as well as Brimblecombe as well. So unfortunate there for Josh. Commentator's curse. There's an Audi as well. GT2 coming into fight as well. With not too sure which one that is, but unfortunate mistake there from Josh McLaughlin.
I have a question. Who has a bigger gap in their class lead? Lucas Keys with 29.3 seconds, or Mia Rose over P2 and GT2?
I think it's still Mia. I think Mia's in the 30s. Still
close as the car number 19 yellow flags there at the bus stop chicane.
Archer. Oh dear. Yeah, those bollards, they may be plastic, but they're bolted down pretty strongly. They do not move. Absolutely. They're welded down with dried Weetabix. Unfortunately, Connor Archer is going to have to return to garage with 5 minutes to go, which is a real shame to get that far into the race and having to go back as we come back to Joshua Holmes. Now we're going to have it in the... I don't think we've seen this car too much, the GT4 Pit Viper BMW. It's going along nicely, and I'm sure each class has had its moments. We're not able to capture every moment. You know, there's 57 cars on track, 60 minutes, and of course we're going to miss a few things.
Yeah,
so I'm surprised that that's not a track limit.
Yeah, Glen has definitely been putting in a shift this race. It has been very tricky as the camera director, I'm sure. So thank you for that.
Oh, Logan Burton's in the pits as well. I think I've seen a few pit stops. I'm not sure if it's people making mistakes or people who've underfueled. But it looks like McLaughlin's got a head back ahead of Brimblecombe now, as they send it into the chicane as the TCX car is trying to have its own moment. And
oh no! Oh no!
Idiot!
Oh,
no, not again! No, Viney and Nippers have gone at a moment. We see them again for a brief second, and they have another collision into the wall. Oh my goodness! You can't make this up.
This is why we're allowed nice things.
Can't do it.
This is why we can't have nice. Oh.
God forbid there's anything other than a dry track.
I need more hands and more cameras.
Oh dear, poor Glen. You don't know where to look. Every time we cut to something, it's just it looks like we don't really need to see a replay. So it's like Nippers and Vine, like camera cropper at the exit of the bus stop, and they kind of both fight them into themselves into the barrier. Nippers did end up ahead, and I think Austin got them both just by not being involved.
Yeah, I need your take on this, Cameron. What do you reckon this race would be if it was wet?
I'm not sure if it. I'd like to think maybe people might be taking it a little bit easier.
Oh no!
Because sends it up the inside of Josh McLaughlin, and then he gets sent into the TCX, and he gets sent in by the BMW of Herbert as well. Pit viper action. It's karma. It's back. It's returns. God knows. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not surprised the stewards left this one by. They didn't want any part of this.
It would have been stupid.
Pit viper likes to send. Here comes Mark Bushell.
They might need to start now, and then they'll finish tomorrow at
Brimblecombe, come
11.
on.
As we still see some chaos here as the GT2 going up to the inside TCX and the GT4. Now the other GT2 going for it, and the GT4 going for it on the TCX, and it's all kicking off as that's a wide BMW there going off the track as we head into the long left hand of the Alpine now chasing the Porsche of Brimblecombe. So it is Bushell chasing Brimblecombe as we head up the hill. There's 2 minutes to go, so probably 2 more laps to go because it's based off Rose in the GT2 car. So wait.
Yeah, she's just about coming up to the 3rd sector now, so she'll have this lap and the end of the next lap. And Mark Bushell now on the back of the road. I don't want to really attack anyone or anything like that, but I feel like there are some drivers out there who have been involved in stuff and they've been kind of making their own bed, frankly. Yeah, unfortunately, they've been shitting in other people's bed in the process sometimes. Apologies for the language, but I don't think that's the worst thing we've heard seen tonight or heard.
No. This race, it is honestly, I can't say if it's been a long or a quick hour. Yeah, but has it been a long or a quick hour? I think it's it depends on who you are. I think here in the comms box it's felt like a pretty average hour because we're just having heart attacks every 2 seconds as the leader now enters the final lap. Mia Rose on an absolutely dominant display in the GT2 field. As we continue to look at Sean Brimblecombe as we head into the bus stop as he is under pressure from Bushell as the Alpine is a bit better in the corners. So we see the gap just close a little bit there as we head through the long right hander. This is the fight for, I don't even know what position P7?
Yes.
Yes.
Fight for P6.
So there's one last yellow flag. Car number 26 returning to pit lane as now there's a GT2 car on the scene going down the inside of the uphill right. Oh no, Brimblecombe just tapped in. Oh no, the GT2! Oh, it happened again.
I don't think it was a touch there at the end, it was just having a tank slapper all on his own.
Yeah, and this invites Bush right into it. As we head towards the braking zone, the Alpine late on the brakes, nearly hitting the back of Brimblecombe as we head up the hill towards the second hairpin. And now this is a massive moment as the GT4s will have another lap as this is ending the penultimate lap, but Bushell not waiting around as we head into the penultimate corner of Watkins Glen as who is going to go for a move and where, as now there's another GT2 car in the fray here between this fight. They should clear Brimblecombe and yep, as here comes Mia Rose after a truly dominant display in GT2.
Well done.
As she has driven away from the field 37 seconds as she crosses the line and takes the win in Watkins Glen. That is truly a spectacular performance. But now we take our eyes, we take our gaze back to Brimblecombe versus Bushell as we head up the hill as the GT2 car just flying past. There's a bit of traffic. It is McLaughlin up ahead. So this could be a three-way fight as now Bushell might go for it at the bus stop. There is a little bit of overlap there as around the outside he just backs out of it, plays this patient game. There's still a long way to go left in this lap, and being GT4 cars, you can just about make it work anywhere as our P2 GT2 crosses the line as we continue to look here. As now McLaughlin going very slowly. I wonder what's happened here as now Brimblecombe goes up the inside, and now Bushell is on the outside in the Alpine, trying to keep it the long way round. We'll have the inside for the next hairpin. No, he goes off the track. So that is a very crucial moment here as there is now the GT2 Mercedes entering this fight. But now Bushell's back around the outside as we head up the hill. And now we look at Brimblecombe, who's trying to make a move here on McLaughlin as we head down towards the braking zone. The Mercedes should clear them both before they get to the braking zone. Now Brimblecombe pulls alongside and is going to try and go down the inside on the Maserati of McLaughlin. There's a bit of door rubbing now. Bushell will try and get involved as we head up towards the hairpin. The Maserati squirming around, and now dropping down the field goes McLaughlin, but Bushell, will he be able to get the move done as well? Brimblecombe has definitely got it done on the Maserati, but now we head into the fast left-hander. Bushell backs out of it for the moment. Will we see a final corner heroic? The Maserati all over the curve. There's a TCX here for one last time to get in the way as we head around the final corner. I think that the Maserati of McLaughlin will just about hold on. Bushell to the line. It's going to be a photo finish. It's a drag race. Who's going to get it? Who's going to win? Or not win, but who's going to get the place?
It's
McLaughlin as by 200. Wow. Wowee.
Fantastic. And to the last lap from the GT4 competitors there. It looked like McLaughlin had some accident damage as well, which is hence why he fell back as Brimblecombe won out that trio, and Bushell gave it everything, using all of his LMU practice, multi-class racing, to try and get ahead of the Maserati, but not to be the case. But they put on a great show for us, and that's what matters.
Wow.
Congrats again to Mia Rose as well for dominating GT2 class. Lucas Keys obviously headed up the Pro-Am of the GT4s, and it looks like Babby won TCX, but we'll run through the full results. But wow, the race, it's over. We can breathe, we can cyber leaf, we can put our, we can get some heart tickers maybe for the next race. Might have to get some more commentators in because I think we're both out of breath.
Oh, I'm pretty good, except for the last lap. I've been pretty relaxed.
Glen needs about 5 more hands.
he needs an extendo arm and plus 3 of them as well. I do a lot of, like, obviously we do the F1. I do the F1 series in OOR, and that is just it's chaos open wheel racing comms. So I'm pretty well in with breath here. So I did just see. I think that Keys just had a bigger gap over P2 and GT4 than Mia Rose had over Taufik. I think that, yeah, and 39.
Indeed.
Oh, 38 and 38.
Oh, wow.
Wow, 38.1. Wow.
Run GT2s, obviously Mia Rose, followed by Taufik, and then Bevis make up the top 3. Well done to those 3 in GT2 class. GT4 class obviously won by Lucas Keys. We didn't see much of it. We saw even less of him than Mia Rose. And then Carl Johnson in the Ginetta to take out P2, and Joshua Holmes in the Cayman as well, despite having a big old prang into the wall. TCX, Babby, the class that got all the punches, I will say, I think, out there, followed by Sasha Def and Aiden Squires. And someone said in chat, I think it's Babby's second race in OOR, so well done as well to the BMW driver. But yes, top 3 for the M2s out there, and unfortunately, obviously, for Peach on the first lap. Fastest lap, I believe, did go to Rakhmat as well. So well done to him for sticking things out. Quite a race of attrition. A lot of things to take away. Probably a few things to be said. I'm sure the sprint room chat will be on fire after this one. But we thank you, everyone, for this race as well. And we look forward to the next race, which won't be too... Lindsay, final thoughts?
I think that might be more chaotic than an open lobby at Monza. Yeah, a lot of carnage, a lot of death, a lot of destruction, I think is my final thoughts.
Yeah, wouldn't Wouldn't blame you on that one.
Thanks for a great call, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. I believe next week, 16th at Suzuka, we'll be back. So
Correct.
everyone hopefully will join us again for that one. And thank you to you, Glenn, as well, for all the camera work as well.
I think you need 3 sets of eyes and 5 new hands for next round.
No, all I need's a big bottle of bourbon.
Yeah, you
Get off the stewards first.
Yeah,
Okay.
You recommended a couple of bottles of bourbon to me, and I'm only 15.
Well,
Anyway,
I think we'll call it quits for the night on that note.
I had to throw it out there eventually. I was waiting for Glen to bring it up.
thank you very much, everyone. Catch us next week for Suzuka. This time, same place, same time, next Wednesday. And we'll do it all again in Japan. But yes, thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Glenn. And we'll cut things off for tonight and hope everyone has a lovely rest of the week.
Oh my god.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not surprised. But that was what I was expected as well.
I expected it, but I just didn't. Every time Glenn cut the camera to a new person, like, holy shit,
That was... oh, goodness.
that was something.
Yeah, I think replays are just gonna have to go. Like, just I'm not surprised if you don't want to do them from anyone because it's just there's no chance. Oh my goodness.